Hello, welcome to a 10-minute meditation sit with some instruction, and then we will follow with questions and answers. So if you are watching this on a replay, feel free to post comments either in the Facebook group or on the YouTube channel. I am notified when people post comments, and I do try to get back to you with answers. So I've been receiving so many questions about how do I start meditating? I've tried, it hasn't worked, or I don't even know where to start. So I wanted to provide some basic instruction. And then also what I'd like to offer you is that next week I will come live as well. So at the end of today, if you want to set an intention for this week, and if someone reminds me of this at the end, because I want to make sure I remember to repeat it towards the end, because we can set an intention and then come back and meet again next Tuesday. And sometimes that really helps the motivation to give this a try. So as you're signing on, feel free to say hello. If you're signing on from Facebook, I won't be able to see your name unless you put it in the comment or you give StreamYard permission. If you're on YouTube, I can see your name and I can respond to comments, name or not. So I'd like to encourage you, I'm going to give a little bit of a precursor here, just a couple minutes. And so I'd like to encourage you to get into whatever meditation posture you might have or you might use. So sitting in a chair is fine. I can give some instructions for that. And if you have a cushion or you sit on the floor, I generally recommend that you keep your hips elevated. So for example, I sit, I know it's going to be a little bit hard for me to show you, but let me pull it up here. I sit on a cushion that size. And so my knees are on the floor in a cross-legged position, but that little bit of elevation in the hips can really help. If you're very flexible, comfortable, cross-legged on the floor, that is fine as well. So Melissa from Indiana, hello. Graham, nice to see you again. Jessica, hello. So welcome everyone. So the benefits of meditation are enormous. And if you have watched the free webinar that I offer, Rewiring Your Brain for Joy and Confidence, I shared some research on how powerful meditation is. So you will have some of this information. And if you have not seen that webinar, feel free to sign up. I did put it in the notes below the YouTube video. And you can sign up. It's being offered a few more times this week. And so meditation changes the beta waves in your brain. It helps to stimulate the beta waves that produce a alert but relaxed state. So how good does that sound? Alert but relaxed. Not a state we're generally taught to exist in, right? We're usually alert and stressed or relaxed and asleep. So meditation, research has proven, helps to generate those brain waves. Meditation also changes the brain in very significant ways. It helps to shrink the amygdala, which is our fear center, meaning fear goes down, right? And it strengthens the hippocampus, which is good for memory. All sorts of benefits. You've probably read about them, which is why you're here. So again, feel free to access the webinar. But these benefits take time to accrue. However, a lot of research has shown that in as little as 8 weeks, you can gain major benefits from meditation. So 8 weeks of 20 minutes a day has been shown to have physical changes in the brain. So just giving that as a precursor. So hello, we have people joining from Holland, Rita, Orlando, Nick from London. Welcome, welcome. So as you're joining on, you can also let me know if you're totally new to meditation, if you've tried it before and it hasn't worked, or if you just joined along to have a little bit more instruction and opportunity for Q&A. So I'm going to go right into the instruction now. Then we are going to sit for 10 minutes. And during that 10 minutes, I will provide a very minor amount of guided instruction. So primarily for 10 minutes, we'll be sitting in silence. And I'm doing this because I would really like you to experience what that is like. And I'm going to give you some tips and tools. Hang in there. For some people, this might be super easy. For others, this might be very challenging. Yet I'd like you to experience what it's like and then be available to answer your questions. Okay? Does that sound good? All right. So taking your seat, bring a sense of intention and uplift to your posture. So if you're on a meditation cushion or in the chair, sit on your sits bones so your spine is straight and pull up as if you have a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. So your back is nice and straight. You can drop your shoulders. You could sort of stretch them around a little bit and then drop them. And where your shoulders drop, let your hands fall in a comfortable position. And you can just put your hands face down on your knees, whether you're in a chair or cross-legged on the floor. And for today's meditation, I'm going to ask you to keep your eyes open, but just very slightly. So your gaze is just a few feet, maybe not even a few feet, maybe 1.5 feet in front of your legs. So you have a very light gaze, and I'll explain why in a moment. And if you really want to close your eyes, it's okay to do that too. I just would like you to try to experience it with your eyes slightly open, soft gaze. And you can feel a relaxation in your jaw. Maybe take a deep breath into your jaw. A nice diaphragmatic breath. Relax the muscles of your face, relaxing your shoulders down. And one reason the eyes are open in mindfulness meditation is that all of our senses are open. So as you meditate, you will hear sounds. You will maybe feel a breeze on your skin. You might feel a pain in your body, right? We feel sensations all the time. The point of meditation is not to retreat from the world. It's to be more fully in the world. So that's the reason many traditions use eyes open. And the technique I'm going to teach you here is mindfulness meditation technique. It's used in many Buddhist traditions. It's used in the Zen tradition, Tibetan, Vipassana, which is insight meditation. Many traditions in many places around the world use this basic meditation technique. So you first have your posture, which is somewhat almost regal. Acknowledgement that you're doing something, which is awesome for your soul and for the world. So just a posture that reflects that. The soft gaze, the relaxed shoulders, straight spine. And I'm going to ask you to just focus on your breath. Focus on your body breathing, whatever that means to you, however you'd like to focus. You can just feel your body breathing. You can feel the air entering in and out of your body, just noticing the breath. And the technique we're going to use is simply to focus on the breath. When your mind wanders, focus on the breath. As your mind wanders, focus on the breath. Now, everybody's mind wanders. And we'll talk a little bit after we sit about how the purpose, the initial purpose of this meditation is not to make you super relaxed. Sometimes it does make you relaxed. Sometimes it doesn't. I've been meditating for almost 30 years. Sometimes I have very relaxing meditations, sometimes not. Meditation is about being with who you are, where you are with this very moment, good and bad. So hopefully that's making some sense. So bringing your attention as strongly as you can to your breath. And 2 points I'd like to make. As we sit in silence for 10 minutes, it might feel very long to you. If your mind feels like your thoughts are racing, the second you notice that your thoughts are racing, you bring your attention back to the breath, and that's a wake-up moment, okay? And if you're just simply, you get lost in fantasy, you're thinking about cooking dinner or what happened yesterday or what you want to happen next week, and you're just kind of lost in a fantasy, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm not doing the meditation. It's okay. Every one of those wake-up moments is a wake-up moment. It's a waking up out of the fantasy that we live in into exactly what's happening now. So if you have 1,000 wake-up moments in this next 10 minutes, that's okay. And if you have one, that's okay. All right? So let's start. I need to grab my timer here. So just sort of take a deep breath. Notice what you're feeling. Notice your body. Bring to mind the feeling of your body breathing. Lower your gaze, and we'll sit. And as your mind wanders, just gently bring your attention back to your breath. And as your mind wanders, just gently bring your attention back to your breath, this moment, right here, right now. Noticing the breath moving in and out of your body. And as your mind wanders, just bring your attention gently, gently back to the breath. A sense of gentleness with the process. Terrific. So take a deep breath. Acknowledge that you just did something that's not all that usual in our world these days. And let me know how that was for you. Let me know what you experienced. And I also want to make a comment about asking questions. If you have a question about what that experience was like or about how you develop a practice going forward, make sure you ask it, because generally if you have a question, there will be other people watching this both live now and then later who have the same question. So go ahead, I will open it up, and usually it takes a few minutes. So Hala is sharing, amazing, great. I felt the shift after the deep breathing, great. And LD Dell says, I find that I am most relaxed and comfortable when I meditate with my eyes closed. Yep, we can talk about that. Hala, I had to fight falling asleep after a long, busy day. Yes, I personally meditate first thing in the morning, or almost first thing. I do drink my coffee first. And then I have it set up so that my meditation is just part of my normal routine. I actually, have my cup of coffee, relax for a bit, and then I sit in meditation 20 minutes, 30, depends, sometimes only 15. It can really vary. And I find that when I do it first thing in the morning, then it gets done and it sets the tone for my whole day. So that's what works for me. Other people find they do it at night. I do think it's great to find a time that works for you that can become natural, like almost like brushing your teeth. You just do it all the time, about the same time of the day, and then it becomes a habit. So that's great. Okay. Melissa, my mind was anxious and I had such a hard time keeping my mind still. Yes. That's the process. Now, I really want to talk about this comment in particular because some of you did find it relaxing, which is great. But I tried to let you know it might not be, because for many people it is not. Over a long period of time, it definitely calms the mind down. But initially, if you have a lot of anxiety and if you have a lot of cognitive anxiety, meaning a lot of thoughts, you might actually be increasing your awareness of how quickly your brain is working, which could feel anxiety provoking. It is a stage that one can get through if you are persistent. So if you're not relaxed, you're sitting and your mind's racing, and then you wake up, back to the breath, mind races, realize it, back to the breath. That's fine. That is meditation. So when people say to me, I can't meditate, it's because they have belief that this is supposed to be immediately relaxing, and it is simply not. So Melissa, let me know if that's helpful to hear, or if there's more guidance you would like along that. You don't have to keep your mind still. I guess what I'm saying is you don't have to keep your mind still. It's a practice. It's a practice. Nick, it's always much easier when guided, more difficult on your own. Okay, so one reason I barely guided during that 10 minutes, I think I spoke 3 times, just every 3 minutes or so. I just sort of like reminded back to the breath, is I really wanted to give you guys the experience of doing it on your own, because yes, guided meditations are much more relaxing. However, the goal, if we're to talk about mindful meditation as having a goal, let me not use the term goal. Let me say the benefits that I see, particularly with the kind of work that I do with my coaching and my therapy clients, is that we are strengthening the observer. The observer part of our brain is the part of the brain that it becomes keenly aware of patterns. It becomes keenly aware of our patterns of thought, like, oh, I'm thinking about that again, or wow, I spent a lot of time regretting things in the past, like that's a theme for me. And the observer, particularly when we can bring in a non-judgmental observer, which develops with meditation over time, that really assists us in changing patterns. So mindfulness meditation is very much about developing that observer. It's also about developing a non-judgmental approach to ourselves. And it's a means of developing and increasing our ability to be mindful in the moment with whatever is going on. Excuse me. So if I'm struggling, if I'm having a difficult day, if something very upsetting just happened to somebody I love or family member or an interaction, and I go to sit on the cushion, those feelings are going to be there. Those feelings are going to be there. And I might get caught in the storyline. And what I try to do is the storyline takes me away. Okay, back to the breath. Storyline takes me away. Okay, back to the breath. I might still be feeling all of those emotions. But meditation for me at this point develops a sense of spaciousness around the event and the emotions. And it's to be okay with who I am, how I am right now. So next week on Tuesday, same time, noon Eastern time, I'm going to go live with a meditation technique called calm abiding. It's going to build off of this one, but it's just bringing in a little bit more of a sense of being peacefully with whatever we're feeling. So if I'm feeling anxious, I'm going to be peacefully with feeling anxious, or peacefully with feeling sad, or peacefully with feeling peaceful. So I'm hoping you'll join me next Tuesday. So let me just check in on a couple more questions. Peaceful Days asking, would you consider putting out once a week guided meditation for 8 weeks? That will be hard for me to commit to right now, but I'm definitely going to do it this week and next week. And at the moment, I'm finishing the building out of my online coaching program. So that's taking a lot of my time. So I have not been able to go live as regularly as I want. But at some point I can do that, most likely. And yeah, if you're interested in more, you also could check out the coaching program that I have. I guess the other thing I'd like to say with regard to that, because I think it's useful for all of us, is that my mission in life is to live a sane and joyful life. And so sometimes I have to really, really balance my commitments, responsibilities, and pull back even when I would love to do something. So that's a maybe, I guess, for Peaceful Days. That's a maybe on that. But thank you for appreciating the meditation. And I do have a whole playlist of meditation videos that are already up, so you can also access those. Okay, let's see. Melissa's sharing, it makes sense. I'll be persistent now, knowing that my anxiety is okay for now and actually expected. It's actually expected with cognitive anxiety. Absolutely. Great. Let's see what else. Teresa, I enjoyed the clear setup for the meditation. It prepared me well for the experience. Terrific. Okay, so Lemon Breland, love your name. Can you describe the process of when you say feel the breath go through the body, please? Yes. So I tend to leave that open for what makes sense for the person. Certain traditions will give you very specific instructions. So you can try it actually right now. So let's say the instruction I gave you was to feel the breath coming in your nostril and out your nostrils. Just take a second and feel that. So you can notice what that feels like. Now, another instruction could be to actually feel your body breathing, feel it expanding and contracting as you bring in air. So let's just take a moment and notice that if we bring our attention fully to what it feels like in the body to be breathing. Notice how that feels. Okay, so let me know what you think about that, Lemon. So those would be two methods of specific instruction. There's others. Other traditions maybe have you focus on the in-breath, not the out-breath, or not the in-breath, but only the out-breath. I don't want to make this too complicated. I would say to pick one of those two methods, whichever one feels more natural. That is the one that I would do, whether it's feeling the air coming in and out of your nostrils or just feeling your body expanding with the breath. Either one. And if in doing the practice today, you had a different method of focusing on the breath, that's fine as well. We use the breath as focus because breath is with us all the time. It's always accessible. And it's a matter of developing concentration, a matter of developing presence with what's here right now. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's see. We have some new comments here. LD Dell says she really appreciates the explanation of the benefits of meditation. Terrific. Melissa didn't. Oh, Melissa's at work. Well, thank you for checking in at all, Melissa. I hope that you watch the video later. And so let me just come back to next week. So right now, let's say you can set an intention to try this simple method. You also could come back to this video. I think I started the meditation right around, I think I rang the bell right around 12 minutes in. So you could just come back, jump right to 12 minutes and listen for 10 minutes if you like, or even better, just try it on your own. If you've never meditated before, I'd encourage trying 10 minutes a day, or let's say 10 minutes, 5 days this week. If you're up for trying a little bit more, you could set a timer for 15 minutes or 20. So maybe just share an intention right now if you'd like to practice this. And then when we meet next Tuesday, you can let me know how it went. So let's see. And any other questions? I know we're running over a little bit, but I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. Oh, Anderson Annie went from 8 to 1 on the stress monitor. Thank you. That is awesome. I'm just going to share your concept here. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Graham shared that the bell startled him. Yes. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Okay. And the whole thing about eyes open or closed. If you really want to sit with your eyes closed, it's okay. You can do that. As I said, eyes open is representative of the fact that we are not meditating to like retreat from the world. We're not meditating to hide. We're meditating to actually be more engaged in the world, be more engaged in this very moment. But given that we all function with so much emphasis on our eyesight for the people who can see, obviously for people who can't see or whose seeing is compromised, they develop their other senses to a much greater extent than the rest of us. But we have such a visual world, and so often our focus is on the visual that it can sometimes be helpful to close the eyes to meditate, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yet I still would encourage you occasionally to try with a soft gaze, eyes open, because we want to take what we develop sitting here on this cushion, the concentration and mindfulness that we develop paying attention to this moment right here, right now. We want to take that to the world. We want to get off the cushion and still be able to be mindful. We want to walk into the kitchen and do our dishes mindfully. greet our family members mindfully present as much as we can, right? So we're developing the ability to be mindfully present in the world, and we will have our eyes open as we are doing that. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. Angela's asking, can you do it lying down? You can. Many people will fall asleep lying down. I find like relaxation type meditations or guided visualizations better for lying down. Again, for the mindfulness meditation, it's really about being alert but relaxed. It's learning a new state of being. So that's why I would recommend sitting. And I don't think I gave very good instruction for sitting in a chair, but I also have a video that I can link on sitting positions in meditation if you would like to take a look at it. Pancake Man, should we follow the flow of the breath or always to be aware of the breath? That's a good question. I'd like to know more what you mean, like what the difference is for you. Like with the flow of the breath, are you focusing on the air coming in and out versus simply being aware of it? Melissa is committing to practice 10 minutes a day for 5 days, and you'll be here next week to share. Terrific. I thought I wasn't able to meditate because of my anxious. I'm so happy. That's so great. Yes, give it a try. Some days it might feel like torture, and some days it might fly by. That's awesome. Anybody else want to make a statement? Sometimes it's very helpful for accountability to say, this is what I'm going to do this week. And obviously the main point here is to be gentle with yourself. So if you commit to something and you don't do it, it's okay. It's all okay. That's the main point of most of this. It's all okay. So the main point of most of my work is I would love it if everybody would love who they were. Just love themselves for who you are. So we try meditation. Sometimes we struggle. We set goals. We sometimes get part of the way there. It's all okay. But you can set an intention to see what you would like to do. Alrighty. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you for hanging in there and sticking with this live talk. LD Dell said she'll also be, she or he, I'm not sure, be back next week. I intend to meditate 10 minutes a day for the next week. Great. I can't wait to see how you do. And Blue Moon, you're very welcome. And I will talk to all you guys later. Bye-bye.